hour ago. These men, J.D. Drake and Anthony Henry, the Workhorsemen, have had absolutely no time to prepare for this, a match on Prestige's biggest stage, and a match against, it makes me sick to my stomach to admit, one of Prestige's most successful and decorated tag teams.
Well, they don't call them the Workhorsemen for nothing. I think the fact this lack of preparation, I think this is going to show just how tough and how intelligent in the ring that Anthony Henry can be. Look at this here. Two teams that are rooted in the old school with a flair for the modern. I feel the reason that people don't like the Midnight Heat, though, is because they tend to keep it simple.
They're jerks, Brian Zane. The reason people don't like the Midnight Heat is because they're full of themselves, and they cheat, and they're just awful. Sorry. Excellent professional wrestlers, some of the very best we have. Again, much like the noise, it's part of what makes it so damn frustrating that they're such you-know-whats.
They keep it simple, Jordan. Look at this.
Anthony Henry with nice wrist control. Oh my goodness.
Easy for you to say.
Right. And easy for Ricky Gibson to evade the nice wrist control. Third time's the charm.
Here we
and
go.
An arm drag from all hail Anthony Henry.
3 or 4 times for that arm drag, and Ricky Gibson now trying to get his way out of it.
Less times than it took me to say that correctly, you know?
Well, that's why they get paid the big bucks.
Wait, you're getting paid. Anthony Henry here, cutting off the ring. Very, very smart. Not so smart from Eddie Pearl, the illegal man, to interject himself here. Gets it off the ropes. Boots for him as well. And another arm drag. Takes him off his feet.
Who needs prep time when you're Anthony Henry? Look at him.
Of course, it was just announced today, this Saturday on AEW Collision, the Workhorsemen with arguably the biggest match of their careers ahead of them against Darby Allin and Sting. As big as that is, Brian, have got to be very, very careful they don't look too far ahead into tomorrow.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a big opportunity. And speaking of which, hey, what's Anthony Henry holding? It's string.
So stupid. Ricky Gibson attempting to chop the blue-collar badass to very, very little effect. I'm inclined to agree with our Roseland faithful here, Brian.
Eddie Pearl trying to give some impromptu strategy and advice.
Ricky Gibson, as is often the case with the Midnight Heat, escaping it to the outside. What, he's going to get some merchandise here?
Buy some of my stickers.
Go to prestigewrestling.net after your match. Not right now, Brian.
J.D. Drake is in hot pursuit. Look at this. He's in enemy territory going up. I think he missed that blind tag.
Eddie Pearl, the legal man.
Or did he?
J.D. Drake realizing it the last possible second. And again, make no mistake, Drake's a big guy. He has cardio to match the best of them here.
Whoa, look at that. Gibson grabbing the ankle.
And Eddie Pearl, as is typical of the Midnight Heat, using the numbers game.
I mean, Drake is as big and tough as they come, but a well-executed plan like what the Midnight Heat did can bring him down like a bag of hammers.
Well executed, right. It's cheating behind referee Devin Campbell's back.
Okay.
It's breaking the, I mean, it's.
But it worked. It worked, didn't it?
Is that the kind of competitors you want to be? You want to get yourself back to a Prestige Wrestling Tag Team title match by grabbing the feet behind Devin's back.
I think a champion does exactly what is necessary to get where they need to go.
Well, Eddie Pearl and Ricky Gibson are not Prestige Wrestling Tag Team champions, excuse me. Though it was back at Talk is Cheap at the Hawthorne Theater, we thought the Midnight Heat had relinquished those tag team titles that they once held because of an injury. Ricky Gibson taking Drake off his feet.
Cover here, come on.
We thought they had relinquished those tag team titles. We thought they had done the right thing. The Workhorsemen competing against C4 and State of Emergency in a triple threat tag team match later on that night to decide the vacant tag team titles. And what happened? The Midnight Heat breaking up the matchup here. In comes Anthony Henry, spoiling that three-way dance, spoiling the Workhorsemen's opportunity to become Prestige Wrestling Tag Team champions. You know Anthony Henry and J.D. Drake have not forgotten that, Brian Zane.
Anthony Henry just took 4 consecutive clothesline attempts, gaining momentum every time he hit the ropes. I've never seen someone move that fast.
Going for another, but this time Gibson had it scouted. Eddie Pearl, another blind tag, and Gibson to the outside.
Look at this. go. Now, turnabout's fair play. Now we've got Eddie Pearl is in no man's land. Oh, look out!
The big man, JD Drake with a senton.
Sloppy Joe sandwich. A great man once said.
And Brian, I want to point out, a couple times now, we've seen the Midnight Heat dig into their bag of trickery, go for the blind tags as we take another look at this impact here, my goodness. A couple of times, we've seen them try to take a low road, and every time thus far, the Workhorsemen have had an answer.
I mean, this has been, oh
my God.
This has been a lesson for the Midnight Heat. I think they picked the wrong couple of guys to piss off.
Mad at them for costing them a Prestige Wrestling Tag Team title match well over a year ago. Mad at themselves for losing their Prestige Wrestling Tag Team title match to C4 back at Decimate the Week. Just plain mad and taking it out on Precious Eddie Pearl here.
I mean, you said it. Anthony Henry only arrived less than an hour to spare. Oh! But they are looking like they're in the driver's seat in this match.
Yeah, less than an hour to spare. Has a red-eye flight out tonight, but making the most of his very, very short time here tonight. And from behind, again, Ricky Gibson making his presence felt.
Here we go now.
Sends Eddie Pearl into the ropes. Blind tag once again from Gibson. Finally, they may have caught Anthony Henry here.
Oh, look at that. Oh, maybe it's time. Back, stab it. Oh,
and look at the height from Anthony Henry.
Juggling for good measure.
Cover, and a kick out from Henry.
Boy, that's a move that has put away many an opponent, so give him credit for kicking out.
Again, a tremendous, tremendous tag team are the Midnight Heat. Just a couple months back and alive in the Hawthorne Theater. Cover here from Gibson. Oh, it was an alive. We saw them pick up a victory against one of my favorites, the brothers Divine, Danny and Brendan. So they can certainly get the job done. I think what makes it so frustrating, Brian, again, they don't need to take the low road. They don't need to cheat and break and bend the rules.
No, they do not, but you know what? Everyone's got something that brings them to the dance. And here we see now,
we're not
kind of a battle of wills here in the ring, each man trying to push into the other corner.
Yeah, we're not dancing here, we're scrapping. Ricky Gibson thinking hip toss, but Anthony Henry with a backslide.
Oh, not a good angle. Now, I think if he were more back-to-back, more parallel, that could have been a stronger pin.
Again, frequent tags from the Midnight Heat. Eddie Pearl back in this contest, and the Midnight Heat doing everything they can to keep Anthony Henry away from his fresher partner. And JD Drake, I'm not sure if we can get a shot in the corner. He is pissed off here, Zane.
I mean, you can feel it radiating off just off
Cover.
camera. I think there's a warm glow emanating from the left side of the shot. There it is.
Anxious, frenzious for that tag is JD Drake.
I'm going to look that word up.
I don't think it's a real one.
We're always experimenting here at Prestige Wrestling.
I'll tell you what's absolutely real is the onslaught from Eddie Pearl and Ricky Gibson once again doing everything they can to keep Anthony Henry away from JD Drake. Was it a word?
I found a frenzy frozen yogurt in Gresham.
Well, we're not talking about Gresham. We're talking about the Workhorsemen. Anthony Henry finally going for a tag, but Ricky Gibson cutting him off at the last possible second.
There's some free advertising for you. And now, Ricky Gibson getting a couple of free shots in on Henry.
And a kick out. Ricky Gibson here. Really both the Midnight Heat, both Ricky and Eddie, so determined, so scornful after losing that Prestige Wrestling Tag Team Championship TLC match back at Roseland 6. That was a big loss for them, Zane.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, my goodness. Look at that great double team chemistry. The Midnight Heat give as good as they get.
Stop this. Eddie Pearl telling JD Drake to check his cheeks. What are we doing here?
It's mind games. I think you've seen their body of work, and just as much as their acumen in the ring, the knowledge of the moves they have, it's all mental, Jordan.
Yeah, I've seen their body of work. I don't want to see any other parts of Eddie Pearl's body. In comes Ricky Gibson. Again, the Midnight Heat feeds off of this hatred and vitriol from the Roseland faithful.
Here we go now, I think. The fact that Henry, or Drake I should say, no, I was right the first time, Henry, the fact that he came in guns blazing, little time to prepare, I wonder if the adrenaline dump has taken effect, and now he's having a hard time picking up steam.
Again, Anthony Henry No doubt still adjusting.
Oh!
Wow. Crotching Ricky Gibson there, but again, no doubt still adjusting to the time zone. Still feeling that jet lag here is Anthony Henry. Even more reason to tag in partner JD Drake, but it's Gibson getting the tag into Pearl.
That's right, Gibson now, look at that quickness, cutting off the ring and keeping Henry in there, right in the middle.
Both cutting off the ring and, as you attested to, Brian Zane, keeping Anthony Henry in the middle. Nowhere for him to escape to the outside, nowhere for him to grab the ropes on a pinfall attempt.
I will say, though, a fresh JD Drake is a dangerous one. The longer he's there on the corner, the greater the potential and the kinetic energy is there for him when he comes in the ring.
This is a very, very dangerous move, perhaps a double superplex attempted by the Midnight Heat.
A regular superplex is bad enough. What if it's two? Oh, no.
And Anthony Henry knows it, doing everything he can to escape.
Wait a minute.
Reverse.
Wait, Ricky, move!
Sending Eddie Pearl careening into his tag team partner. And from the top, Anthony Henry with a huge crossbody, but he needs to make the tag.
There he is.
And he does.
A lot of kinetic energy unleashing here from JD Drake. Look at those clotheslines.
The big man coming in like a house of fire. JD Drake is always dangerous.
Up and down.
But after watching Anthony Henry get beaten and battered by Pearl and Gibson, even that much more so.
He can move too, guys. Look at this.
Deceptive agility is the word I like to use from JD Drake.
Oh, look at that chop. That was right in the nips.
Just sending Gibson into his tag team partner. Back body drop. And a huge splash to the corner.
Here we go now. Oh, wait a minute.
Killing two birds with one stone. A neck breaker to Gibson, causing him to DDT his own tag team partner, Pearl.
I mean, the Workhorsemen now are putting in the work. And I think it could be the end of the line for the Midnight Heat if they're not careful.
See, did you see that chop? So powerful that it sent Ricky Gibson careening outside the ring. One chop.
There's that power you're talking about.
Talk about power. JD Drake to the top, thinking Vader bomb.
Oh my goodness, that's gotta be it.
Oh!
Wow.
Man, credit where credit is due. Eddie Pearl finding something deep within himself. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure where he found it, but something deep within himself to kick out.
Here it is. I think a lesser man would still be getting scraped off the canvas right now.
Heart attack.
Is this it?
Still not enough.
Wow. Give some credit, like you said.
Gotta give the devil his due,
The
Brian.
toughness of Eddie here is just, it's incredible. Think of it. This is a guy who was once banned from Roseland. And once he was prevented from being part of the Roseland shows, and now he's proving his toughness.
Brian, if the heart attack didn't do it, this just might.
Wait a minute!
Come on, not like this!
Oh, look at this. I think Drake's had to try and get down faster, trying to show some urgency.
Well, he can do everything he can. Ricky Gibson is grabbing his leg here, Brian.
He's got one other leg.
Tree trunk-like leg at that. Eddie Pearl with a brain buster. He might do it. The Midnight Heat might steal it here.
Here we go.
No!
Wow. That could have been considered an upset.
Eddie Pearl, Ricky Gibson getting into those deep waters. I think Workhorsemen were maybe looking for a doomsday device there. We saw JD Drake scaling the top rope. The Midnight Heat felt it. They felt they were in a very dangerous place.
I like that both teams are making lots of tags. They're not trying to keep it all on one guy. Look out!
Superplex! They're not done.
Power and glory! From the heavens he came down.
Cover!
That's gotta be it.
No, it is not.
Wow.
No, it does not gotta be, Brian Zane.
Boy, at this point, you gotta wonder who's gonna slip on that banana peel first. Who's gonna capitalize on something? It's really any man's match.
Hold on, Anthony Henry trying to steal it.
Wait.
No banana peel, not yet.
Here we go, swing and a miss. Henry's got to try to think fast here. Wait a minute.
Thinking sunset flip. I don't like the look of those tights.
That's a full moon.
From behind, Ricky Gibson.
Here we go, coming off the ropes. Oh, accidental collision.
A meeting of the minds between the Midnight Heat and Seguri kick.
Now Gibson back in the worst possible corner. Oh dear. Oh my.
Power slam.
Oh my God, air traffic control. We got a problem.
From halfway across the ring, a diving headbutt from JD Drake, the legal man.
No.
but broken up at the last possible second by Eddie Pearl. You saw Anthony Henry go for the cover initially. I think that momentary lapse in judgment may have cost the Workhorsemen here.
There was some confusion there over who was legal, and that, you're right, that could have cost them precious seconds.
Precious seconds is all you need. 1, 2, 3. That's what the Workhorseman is looking for here off the double knees. And the cannonball!
I'm glad that person's head blocked the impact, because that was a gruesome looking contact.
Assisted flatliner there.
Oh my goodness.
Cover!
No! Whoa, I thought that was it.
God damn it, Devin!
Now, hey, you cannot blame Devin for that. That was 100% Eddie.
Oh, so you admit that they're cheating. The Midnight Heat doing what they do best.
I've never
cheating.
I've never denied it. And now there's some jaw jacking here between Devin and Eddie, fighting on here on the outside. Look at that, face first into that support beam.
Yeah, the same post that earlier on tonight took Jaden out of commission, and Anthony Henry's pissed, handful of hair, but gets his throat crotched on the top.
Wait a minute. Look at that! The quickness!
And the win!
The winners of this match, the